Hello there. My name is Craig Hain. My students call me Dr. Dell. And this is going to be a Mathaphor. That's a word I made up about David versus Goliath. Now, I'll tell you what a Mathaphor means in a moment, but let's talk about David versus Goliath. Question number one. Who was the underdog that was most certain of defeat as you read the story? This is one of my favorite stories when I was a young child that my Aunt Ines read to me, and I loved it. And I thought David was the underdog. I think a lot of people think that, but the answer is the underdog was Goliath. Now the question is why? Do you know why? What do you think? What did you think? Well, the facts are Goliath was one of the most powerful Bronze Age warriors on either side's army. There was this fight going on between two armies, King Saul on one side and the Goliath's army on the other. And Goliath was a very large, he's a giant really, very large, powerful, fully armed with the very best weapons of Bronze Age warriors, very best weapons and armor. In fact, there was no other Bronze Age warrior that could probably win in a hand-to-hand close-up combat, which is what they typically engaged in. So on the Israeli side, King Saul's warriors were all quite properly afraid of Goliath. They didn't want to fight him. And then one day along came David, and he was a young shepherd, brother of some of King Saul's warriors who didn't want to fight Goliath. And David, he was a shepherd. He had no bronze weapons. He had no armor. However, what David did have was a revolutionary technology much superior to the Bronze Age warriors' technologies. And it was called a sling. Now, let me make sure we understand what a sling is and why it's a revolutionary and a superior technology. David didn't have any armor. He had no close-up fighting. He couldn't skill. But what he could do, he could kill lions and bears with this technology, with this sling. Because David's sling in the hands of a properly trained, skilled fighter like David was really kind of like having a modern pistol. And this was proven, by the way, in modern times in Israel. And if you took aim, proper aim, at an open spot in the armor of a warrior like Goliath, then the rock that the sling threw would just be like a powerful bullet from a modern gun. You see the point? So David didn't have to get near Goliath at all. He from a distance, he basically, it's like he had a modern rifle. Goliath never had a chance. There was no chance in this. David would never get close to Goliath. He didn't have to get close to him. He wouldn't get close enough to get hurt. Goliath couldn't do anything to him. David didn't have armor. He could move around quick and easy. He could evade anything that Goliath might hurl at him. And then David would hurl back stones, or what we might think of as bullets, and he could do that till one of them hit. Now, I think as the story goes, the first one hit, but he could have done it many times if he needed to. Okay, that's a story that we all know, the Bible story. And now this is my interpretation of the Bible story. Okay, homeschools today versus public schools. That's what this video is really about. And this is what I want to call a Mathaphor. Now, that's something I made up. What is a Mathaphor? What do I mean by it? Well, it's a metaphor about math. A metaphor is where you have one thing to compare to another. And I want to compare David and Goliath to homeschool versus public school. So in this metaphor, homeschools are David and public schools are Goliath. Now, who's the underdog? Who can win? Well, if homeschools are going to win, they have to have a sling. Like David did. They have to have a more powerful weapon than what the public schools have. The greatest weakness today for most homeschool teachers and homeschoolers is mathematics. Very few homeschool teachers can teach math that is taught in a public school by a licensed math teacher. And they can't do that at home. Very few can. So it's a big argument against homeschools that people make today. You have inferior math education. You can't teach your kids, your students, what they need, like our public schools do. But here's what I want to point out to you. The public schools math today is what I call the standard math curriculum. You have to understand it. You have to really understand mathematics to understand what it really is. What's the content and what's the pedagogy? And the facts of the matter are, it's like Bronze Age weapons. It has obsolete content now in the 21st century and inferior pedagogy, again, compared to 21st century. What we can do today in the 21st century is quite different than what they could do back in the 20th century. Well, homeschool parents today now have a sling like David did, and it's vastly superior to the standard math curriculum being taught in our public schools. And what is that sling? It's Triad Math's 6-tier 21st century online math program, which I created. I'm the CEO and founder of Triad Math. This sling, this program, Triad Math, is a small fraction of the cost of the standard math curriculum. And more importantly, though, it's vastly superior in both pedagogy, which I call spike pedagogy. That's an acronym that I'll explain, you'll learn about. And more importantly, even than that, or equally important, is 21st century math content. These two things are so much better than what's been taught in the 20th century, and all our current standard math curriculum is still 20th century. So all a homeschool parent now needs to do is to be a coach. And me, Dr. Dale, I am the teacher. I'm the online teacher. I use tutorial videos, notes, exercises, and all this stuff comes off of Amazon. I use them as a tool, really, Amazon Web Services and so on, and a lot of other modern technologies involved in this. It's a very sophisticated program. And you can learn all about it today by going to homeschoolertoday.com/superior. Now, if you go to my homepage, craighane.com, and you go down and click on how and why homeschool math can be vastly superior to public school math, that will take you to that link. Now, this is a book I wrote 2 or 3 years ago to fully explain this, and it's very much in detail. Every chapter has a video and a PDF. You can read it or you can listen to it and watch it, and you'll learn all about it from that. So that's one thing you can do to find out why what I'm telling you is true. After all, I'm making a huge claim here. Now, there's no brag, just fact, as an old saying used to go back in the old days. Homeschool math with my program is vastly superior to public school math that's using the standard math curriculum. And that's what all the public schools are teaching. That's what all the math textbooks are. By the way, they're all obsolete now. Multi-billion-dollar industry is obsolete. And it's not the math teacher's fault. Don't blame the math teachers. They're a victim too. This is a systemic problem that we have in public school education today. And this is what I call the David versus Goliath in our 21st century. It's a big deal, because this is going to, who wins this battle is going to determine the future of our country, of our economy, of the quality of life of our people, and so on. Well, whose side are you on? Now, I've written a new book, another new book that's more recent on it, called Golden Rule Math for All God's Children. And you can go to Amazon and buy a copy of it. I've got a link of it here somewhere. Amazon, you can go there and buy a copy of it for $29, or get a Kindle version for $10. And this is even a more recent book. It's almost the same, though. It's the same information as in the vastly superior book. But the vastly superior book was never published on Amazon. You can only get it from the website I sent you to. This you can go buy from Amazon and get a paperback or a Kindle version of it. Or you can go to goldenrulemath.com and get a free PDF copy of it. So you don't have to buy it. Get your own free PDF copy of it. And that's what I wanted to tell you about. Now, if you really fully understand this David versus Goliath that we're talking about, this 21st century, you need to read one of these two books. Either one will be fine. Then what you can do and should do is you can go get what is now a new, no risk, $9 math program just to experience what it's like. And you go to a website, try Math Inc. Made it Fraction Made Easy. It's this website right here you'll be going to. And you're going to be able then to get a no risk program for $9, fractions made easy, using the TI-30XA calculator. Students love it. It's only 7 lessons, $9. You get it 30 days to try it. You don't like it, get your money back. No risk. What you're going to want to do very quickly then, once you see how great it is, you're going to upgrade to the master of the calculator. You can master today a scientific calculator. A student can in less than 30 days. It's fantastic. And you get that for $29. So you're going to do probably both of those before it's over. And then you're going to realize how wonderful it is. Now, once you've done that, believe it or not, you'll be able then, the student will be able to master practical algebra and geometry and trigonometry, all 3 of those subjects, practical, in 1 semester. Phenomenal. And you're going to learn all about that when you go to my program. So that's what I want you to do. I want you first to educate yourself, be sure you understand it. I want you to get some student you know to try out this no risk program. You can try it yourself maybe. I mean, anybody can do this. In fact, even if you don't like math, you don't like calculator, whatever, this is a good thing to get started. If you do like math and calculator, you really appreciate it. Once you've done that, you can become a Triad Math affiliate and spread the word. And by the way, the only thing you'll do to spread the word is send people to this website, the Fraction Made Easy. You just tell them about it and send them to it. That's all. You're not going to, and tell them what you've learned, your experience of it. You can become an affiliate. Now, when you do become an affiliate, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be helping parents and students, and you're going to be earning some money as an affiliate too, needless to say. You could get rich, that's not likely, but you can earn some mad money, have a little fun. Now, here's a point. Even if your student goes to a public school, you can homeschool your student at home because of this program. And a lot of parents are doing that. In fact, my children, I have 3 children, they all went to public school, but I homeschooled them on the math they needed and some other topics too, as I'm sure you do. And it was a lifesaver for them. In fact, this is a lifesaver for many, many students. If you've got a student that's interested in some STEM subject, this is truly, my program's life transforming, because I use a 21st century tool for STEM math that's not taught in any school. It's called Wolfram Alpha. You'll learn all about it in the books. If you have a student that's not necessarily want to go to college, but they want a technical career, you can make $100,000 a year in a technical career, but you need math, practical math to do it, to get started as a basis for it. And you can do that today, or if you're going to the military, and again, it's life transforming. And particularly if you've got struggling math students, they become successful. This whole program will take a struggling student and convert them into a successful student. Now, to many people, this sounds too good to be true. Many people didn't think David had a chance against Goliath. They didn't understand the technology. They didn't understand the situation. Prove it to yourself. Don't take my word for anything. Prove it to yourself. So this is Craig Hain. I have a PhD in math. I've been teaching math for many, many decades at all levels. I'm the founder and CEO of Triad Math, as I told you. I have a personal website, craighain.com. A lot of free information there. All sorts of stuff there. And this is my email address, craig@hain.com. That's my name, Craig Hain, craig@hain.com is my email address. I've had that for 25 years, by the way. And this is my phone number. You can call me. So that's what this is all about. David versus Goliath in the modern 21st century. And I believe that the way this story plays out in the United States of America is going to have a profound impact on the future of our economy and thus our society and our children. Just imagine what it is like to have a great math background that you need for whatever you want to do versus not having one, and what that does to your career opportunities. And we're in a world today that's evolving where there's many, many, many good, great jobs going unfilled because they don't have people that can learn what they need. And math is often the impediment. Today, you not only have to be literate, you have to be matherate. This is Craig Hain. I hope you enjoy my David versus Goliath story, my metaphor, and my Mathaphor, I like to call it. And I hope then that you will participate and get involved in this, which you can and should, and go forward. And if you do, you'll see me on lots and lots and lots of other videos. So Craig Hain, thanks for watching. Thanks a million. And I hope you join the battle.